Alright, this has been waiting a little while. I'll have to go back and see where I'm at. That's the intersection about a half a mile up 158 west from my house. It's a convenience store and a motel in behind it. That's the colored church you can see from the videos at my house, and me and Miss Bly sitting out in the yard of it. Damn, very, very primitive Baptist church. And I'm gonna go up and look around. That road right there used to be a dirt road when I was a child. I don't remember when they paved it, but it was always a dirt road. Bicycles, mini bikes, motorcycles, cars, all made a dust storm when we went up down that road. And again, down in them trees are friends' houses, and you can't see them. I might have to come back and do this when the leaves get off a tree, it looks like. I didn't realize how much trouble the trees was going to be. They are so beautiful and so necessary. But if you're trying to video them from up above, you don't get nothing down in them. That intersection on the left that just come through, that's my road, that's Swallow Road. And it used to come out more of a Y than a T. And I'd come across that hill going east toward my house, and I'd hit that road at about 80 miles an hour. And there was many a wreck right there where other people done it and didn't get their estimates right, and it's been some bad wrecks. That's the reason they turned it like that, so you can no longer do that. I voted to leave it straight myself, but I was overvoted. I suspect I was the only one that said leave it straight. I kind of like hitting that thing fast. Coming the other way, I could just turn my head to the neck and zoom on out 158, run that stop sign, and keep a getting it. But it ain't safe. There's an orange tree right there, almost in the middle of the screen. We'll get back to that in a minute, and I'll tell you where it's at. You may already guess. There it is. That's at Butthole's Pond, right behind my house. Beautiful orange tree. I don't know what it is, but it sure does poke its head out there, don't it? A lot of those houses and things back in there, I don't recognize them. We used to cut through the woods right there and walk or ride a bicycle or a mini bike or a motorcycle over to that pond at my buddy's house. I've caught many a fish on that pond bank fishing, just sitting there contemplating and thinking about things. Children shouldn't have to think about certain things, but I know they do. The horse farm up above that pond, or whatever way to beyond that pond. Let's put it that way. The horse farm some doctor built. I don't know whether he still owns it or not, but he had some horses in there. And coming on around, there's a road right down in front of them houses. You can't see the road for the trees either. And I cut it off right about here, went back the other way. And there's a brick chimney on that yellowish looking house, beige looking house down there. And I think there it is. You see it good right there. That's an old house that belonged to that friend of mine's family that owned that pond. And they said it was haunted, but I had an uncle lived there for years, rented the upstairs while somebody else rented the downstairs. And I slept many a night in that house, and I never seen no haints, never heard no haints, and none of them ever spoke to me. So if it's haunted, they didn't bother Charles. There's a house now right there. No, that's not it, I don't think. No, that's not it. That house, that's a house, the white house right there with the black roof. That's a house my buddy lived in. There's that store sitting in the fork right there. And that road right there is the Ironworks Road. I'll take y'all on a trip down that sometime. I can't do it like I used to, because I used to hit that intersection right there at about 80, 90 miles an hour and go lickety split off to the right And it's a set of S curves down there that should have killed me many times. I was lucky. The road to the left is 158 west going out of Reedsville now, instead of east going the other way. That's Circle Drive right there. That building belonged to the Washburns. And the son, one of the Washburn boys, cut my hair. Never did cut it like I wanted, but he cut it like Daddy wanted it. And that's a runway right there at Walsh Airport. Little rusted up building, top down there, part of the airport. And it's very, very seldom used. That's when I tried to call to get a waiver because I lived less than a mile from it. And the FAA guy called me and told me not to worry about it, just duck when I seen an airplane coming. And I said, there ain't no problem. So I keep an ear out when I'm flying. And it's paved a little way down there, and that's the runway. If you run off the end down there, right down at the end of the runway down there, there's a lake. And it's been a few planes run off in that lake. And there's been a few planes coming off this way, top them trees right there, and get flipped upside down. One of them coming in from this end, cut the top of one of them trees and landed upside down a buddy of mine's yard. And that road right there is the Vaden Road. And it ends down there at the end, and it used to be a family of Vadens. I may still own it, I don't know. And I'm just doing this to have a record. I'm not going to leave a legacy when I go. I'm not going to be famous. I'm not going to be able to leave money to somebody to build a house. Build a building. There's me and Miss Bly sitting down there at that church. Nobody's going to know Grumpy and Miss Bly from stuff. But as long as YouTube is alive, then I will have a legacy of sorts. May not be much of one, but it'll be a little bit of one. And I don't know what that is, but I think it's a budding orchard. I don't know what kind. Could be apples. Could be peaches, because we grow peaches around here. Could be many different things, but I didn't know it was back there till I got up there over the top of it. Kind of interesting to see how they curved the roads, left room down there to drive cars through, trucks. But I'm guessing that's an orchard, or going to be. And y'all can probably tell I'm still out half asleep. I'm not sleeping good at all. I was up all night one night. Now I slept all night, 14 hours the next night. And then last night I got about an hour of sleep, maybe 2. I don't know when the way daylight savings time done. I don't know what I didn't get much. I feel fine, I just feel wore out. Now that building right there at the bottom of the screen to the left of the church where we're facing is an old store. I'll be back to it in just a minute, but I'll go ahead and tell you about it. I used to get off the bus right there and buy my cigarettes. He had some trinkets in there, some candy and drinks, cold drinks. He kept that drink box cold. And I stopped and get my cigarettes and walk on home, smoke a couple on the way home. That's a big old new house. I remember them building it, but I don't remember who owned it. And that's a driveway or road or something goes way back up yonder bushes. You can see that from my house. It was a bunch of rich people bought that land, and it was going to build some kind of complex. I was told it was a doctor's complex. Now, right in the middle of the screen, just then, and them trees right there, you can see a little brown rusted roof right there. That's a sawmill. That's an old sawmill that I spent many hours up there helping my buddy out so he could get through. I didn't make no money. His daddy would give me a dime to buy me a drink at the store. But I helped him get the 2x4 stacked, whatever the lumber he was planing stacked. I got to learn to run the planer. They wouldn't let me run the sawer. He didn't want me to be in no danger. But I stacked lumber and fed the planer and moved sawdust to help my buddy get through so he could give me a ride wherever I need to go. And I might be able to, earlier than that, I might be able to ride a mini bike or a motorcycle or a go-kart because I didn't have one of my own. That's how I learned to be a mechanic, working on everybody else's stuff. I figured if I couldn't afford one, maybe I kept their stuff running. They let me ride it, and they did. And you can't quite see my house there for all the trees. But if you look closely, you can see where me and Paul and Jamie fly in the back lot of Dean's house, my good neighbor. And you can see that water tank over there on the west end of town. And beyond that, you can still see the smokestack at American Tobacco Company, Commonwealth brands. And then I zoomed in just a little bit and gonna come up. And there's that fire tree. I don't know what that thing is. Somebody might know. I haven't been back there to look at it, but it's just a bright orange. That thing is kind of beautiful. There's that field you can see from my backyard. The thing used to stay planted in something all the time. It wasn't always the same thing, but it was something. Sometimes they let it lay fire. But most of the time it had something planted in it. Good for something. And this side of the Butthole Pond, we had a path. Like I said, we had a path cut through there. I've been all in these woods. I fished in that little pond a couple of times. It's cleaned up now a little bit. It used to be hard to get to. And I done looked around enough, I think, to get this area. And I like coming down. I didn't let you see me go up because I didn't want to be aimed straight at that fella's house. But you can see the top of it. I don't know whether he killed or not. But you can see the power lines down there. I don't remember how high I was. I need to keep more notes, but I don't. Well, I like landing. I like coming down. The whole idea of making a landing after a good flight just does me good. And the closer I get to the ground, the more I can relax. I have bought a couple of strobe lights I'm going to put on the back of it to help me see it a little better, hopefully. Jamie got some for his little drone, and he says he can see them a long ways, but Jamie don't ever fly more than 100 feet away, so I don't know how he's considered long. But if I get out very far, I'm going to need some more help to see what I'm looking at. And I'm going to come in and land and be done with this video. So I'll just shut up and tell y'all to play safe, be kind to one another, and just look after each other and endeavor to persevere, as always.